Watch Trump destroys liberal reporter on live TV. It's brutal. During President Trump's official Asia trip, one reporter thought she could embarrass the president while on foreign soil. An NBC reporter tried to humiliate Mr. Trump by asking whether or not he would consider extreme vetting for gun purchases in light of the recent Texas shooting. The president responded by saying we could probably let a little time go by, but it's okay if you feel that's an appropriate question, even though we are in the heart of South Korea, according to the Daily Caller. Let's take a quick listen here.
You've talked about wanting to put extreme vetting on people trying to come into the United States, but I wonder if you would consider extreme vetting for people trying to buy a gun.
Trying to what?
Buy a gun.
Well, you're bringing up a situation that probably shouldn't be discussed too much right now. We could let a little time go by, but it's okay if you feel that that's an appropriate question, even though we're the heart of South Korea. I will certainly answer your question. If you did what you're suggesting, there would have been no difference 3 days ago. And you might not have had that very brave person who happened to have a gun or a rifle in his truck go out and shoot him and hit him and neutralize him. And I can only say this, if he didn't have a gun, instead of having 26 dead, he would have had hundreds more dead. So that's the way I feel about it.
And are you
not going to help?
And are you considering any kind of gun control policy going
when you
forward?
Look at the city with the strongest gun laws in our nation is Chicago. And Chicago is a disaster. It's a total disaster. Just remember, if this man didn't have a gun or a rifle, you'd be talking about a much worse situation in the great state of Texas. Thank you.
Exactly. And I'm not going to repeat what he said, but isn't that so great? Okay, so the president has repeatedly called the Texas shooting a mental health problem, as opposed to a gun issue. I think that mental health is your problem here, Mr. Trump said, based on preliminary reports, a very deranged individual, a lot of problems for a long period of time. This isn't a gun situation. Absolutely. The Air Force had recently acknowledged that the Texas shooter would have been able to acquire firearms if they had wouldn't have been able to if they had correctly submitted his criminal history to the FBI as required by military rules. Okay, but again, even so, he could have gotten it elsewhere, just like they do in Chicago. If somebody's crazy enough, there's always ways to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Devin Patrick Kelly had pleaded guilty to aggravated assault against his ex-wife, choking her on the neck, as well as hitting her infant son hard enough to fracture his skull. So what does that tell you? That the guy is deranged. As gun control activists continue to use the Texas shooting to push their agenda, the president, alongside with his administration, remains committed to defending the Second Amendment. And they can stand on their heads all they like. The conservatives that voted for Trump were exactly because of that, to protect the Second Amendment rights that the Democrats so vigorously oppose. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.